David, thanks for joining us.
A pleasure.
We've talked before. You came into Clean Seas after a period of trial and tribulation. Tell us where the company is now.
On pretty solid footing, I'd say. It's been a 4-year program of transformation. We've rebuilt the business from the depths of the crisis after the feed problem, and we lost nearly all our fish. Mm-hmm. We've built a new executive team. We've got 5 out of 6 new board members. We've introduced branding to the company. Last 3 years, we've lifted our volumes 50%, and we've lifted our prices 25%. We've stumbled across, I have to confess, what we think is the world's best freezing technology, introduced it into our frozen kingfish products, and branded that Sensory Fresh, and we're launching it globally. So we think we're well positioned for the next 3 years of our recovery story, which is all about growth.
Okay. A lot of people, wondering whether they should support, your vision going forward, need to understand what happened to Clean Seas tuna, because it has had fantastic positionings in the market, the question marks and the problems. Then you were brought in. Just in a nutshell, just tell us the story. Sure. And tell us why the worst of that is all behind, and the period going forward is going to look pretty positive.
Indeed. 20-year history. Company started out really trying to close the life cycle of southern bluefin tuna, which it did successfully. Japanese have been trying for 30 or 40 years. This little South Australian company did it. The fish went to sea and were not successful. A couple of reasons: cold water, but at the same time we were experiencing a second problem, which was our mortality rates on the kingfish jumped from a sort of 7-year average of 15% up to 80% over 4 years. And it turned out there was a deficiency in an amino acid in the feed. And we lost 4,000 of our 4,500 tons of kingfish at sea. So you had no fish to sell. Yeah. It takes 2 years to grow this kingfish. My predecessor came in and really had the insight, the scientific expertise to identify the problem with the feed, sorted out the biology of the fish. And he and the team were given a pretty difficult job. The company had lost half its employees, sold half its assets. The share price had dropped from $1.50 to 1 cent.
Which is probably as low as it can go.
It's
until
not much
until you close the shutter door, isn't it?
The market cap had dropped from 150 million to 7 million. And I think as you consider Clean Seas, one's got to say that in 2013, at that point, the research and development phase of the company had not worked the way everyone expected it to. Yeah. And so there was a new beginning. And that beginning was made possible by my predecessor, Craig Foster, and the team. The team that I brought in with me over the last 4 years, our job has been to rebuild those fundamentals. As we said earlier, it's been a job of preparing the business for the next phase of growth. Do I think we're through the worst of it? Absolutely. Well, why do I say that? Well, because we've now got brands, we've got an outstanding product, and we've got some very exciting international market opportunities. When I joined this company, I just had 8 years of retirement while my wife was quite sick. And I came in here, I took the capital I had and invested a lot of it in this company. Today I'm the number 6 shareholder in a shareholder of 7,000. So I've put my money absolutely behind the belief of the product and the company.
Okay, so the brand's always been good in the eyes of the consumer. The stock market might have a different view, particularly around 2013. But I guess the bottom line is, how do you grow this business to the next level? Because you've got some pretty big ideas, haven't you?
Well, in terms of the branding, we've actually introduced quite a new branding proposition of the business. It was always called Hiramasa Kingfish. Hiramasa is the species that we managed to trademark in Australia. Yeah. We now refer it to as Spencer Gulf Hiramasa. So we're really giving a strong provenance story to the product. Yeah. The growth opportunities for us are very clear. In North America, which is 10 times the Australian market, we've got 1% of the market. It's a 76% frozen market, and we've now developed the world's best, we believe, freezing technologies. The Asian market's the fastest growing. It's growing at 30% a year. We've got 6%. In Australia, we have 88%. In Europe, we have 45%. So we're the clear market leader in the 2 very well-established markets. Our opportunity now is North America and Asia, and we think we've got the product to penetrate those markets.
And is the currency going to be an added tailwind?
It's helping us right now. There's no question about that. But this is a product that actually attracts a premium price. It's the most expensive fish sold to the Sydney fish markets for the last 3 years. And in most markets we operate in, this is the most expensive fish available. And it's not because we're inefficient, it's not because we're greedy, it's because the biology of the kingfish, which is after all the king of the sea, has a metabolism that requires a lot of feed, 2.5 times the amount of feed of an Atlantic salmon or barramundi. And when feed is 50 to 60% of your farming costs, it's an expensive animal. The reason brands have been so important to us, the reason we've invested in the world's best freezing technology, is because this product is an Aston Martin. It's not a nice 1 Series, 2 Series BMW. It really is the best of the best. And the branding has allowed us to reflect the values of this product to the consumers, who are the top chefs around the world. And so we're very confident about the product's capacity to perform in any market in the world.
And so whatever happened to Clean Seas Tuna?
Well, we changed the name a few weeks after I last saw you in 2016, actually, Peter. We changed the name to Clean Seas Seafood Limited. And I think in a sense it was the closing of the door on an era that I think, as I said earlier, was perhaps best described as a strong, very extraordinary period of research and development in which we'd stumbled across the kingfish farming as a secondary project. And we turned out now to be, we believe, the best in the world at this farming.
So how are you going to really grow the business in China, Asia, and USA?
Much the same way we've done everywhere else in the world. It's about finding the right executive team to lead those regions, and we've just poached our biggest competitor in North America's sales and marketing director. We've just taken, about 6 months ago, the guy who was the sales and marketing general manager at Huon Salmon right up to their float. He's brought with him the guy around international, so he's running Asia. Greg's running Australia, Europe, and Australia and Asia. So we've got a good executive team to start with. We then find the right distribution partners in those countries, but we recognize that fishmongers and fish distributors, we're a small part of their business. We're a very high value part of it, and we're a prestigious part of it. So we've taken it upon ourselves to go out and get to know and to meet the chefs, the food and beverage directors at the top hotels around the world. We've run a program over the last 18 months called the Chef Activation Program. And we've taken to 2,200 chefs who were not using our product a sample kingfish in a beautiful 5-kilogram box, presented it to the chef and said, try it, let me show you where it's come from, a video on the provenance, and this is how we'd recommend you try using it. 40% of chefs who weren't using it have said they would use it definitely, and 49% said maybe. Just 10% have said it's too expensive, doesn't suit my cuisine. So it's a combination of working through the distribution channels that are established for the supply chain, but going to the end users and demonstrating to them the value of our product and how to use it.
You didn't risk Gordon Ramsay telling you to sod off.
Well, Gordon Ramsay has not told us to sod off, in fact, and we're actually listed and we're actually branded on his menus in London, as is Nobu and many of the top chefs around the world. And that's one of the attributes of this little South Australian farm kingfish. It is considered, we believe, arguably the best raw fish in the world and on the menus of many of the top chefs around the world.
David, good luck. Good story. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Peter.